so you know, Charlie, we're live on YouTube with 5 minutes to go. Well, 3 minutes to go. Yeah. Why was Izzy's boyfriend even on that early? Early bird catches the talk about fans for him. Right, 30 seconds to air. Twenty. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and
Well, games don't get much bigger than this. The bottom two in Sky Bet Championship meet at Kenilworth Road, knowing that for the winner, it could be a huge step towards safety. But for the loser, survival chances would then look bleak. Well, Argyle have put themselves in a much healthier position than they were looking at just a month ago. However, the little step back on Saturday puts everything into perspective, doesn't it? Luton, well, they're trying to avoid the ignominy of double relegation and are still winless under their new boss, Matt Bloomfield. A massive night in store then, and all of the action is coming your way on Argyle TV. Hello, good evening. I'm Charlie Price. This is the pre-match show from Matchday Live on Argyle TV. And, well, it's huge tonight, isn't it? Let's not beat about the bush. It is one of those days which could well end up being season-defining. And it's only February. For the first time since November the 5th, Argyle are playing against a side that are below them in the table. They are 1 point above Luton, 2 from safety. A win today and they would be out of the drop zone. I can guarantee tonight will not be pretty. It'll be uncomfortable on many occasions, but it is one you will not want to miss. Match passes, both audio and video, are available to purchase on our website right now. Just head to pafc.co.uk for all of the details. Now, joining me for tonight's game is a former Argyle women's captain, Katie Middleton. It's not going to be nice, this, Katie, is it?
I wouldn't use nice, I think, to describe it. I think a bit kind of, it's going to be apprehensive, isn't it?
Tense.
Very nervy, tense, is it? Like I say, there's so much riding on it that, yeah, I don't think it's going to be an enjoyable 90 minutes, let's put it that way.
Well, the players certainly will not be thinking that way. They'll have to see it as an opportunity. But it is the bottom two in the division, Katie. It's the side with the worst defence against the side with the worst attack. It's two sides that know that if they lose today, it is a real struggle. Maybe more so than like a must win. It's a must not lose for both.
I think probably the onus is on Luton a little bit more, being the home side. We are obviously well aware of what our away form has been like this season. 16 games on the road and yet to pick up 3 points. So, I feel like the pressure is maybe a little bit more on the Luton side. Everyone talks about our dreadful away form and kind of knows where we're at with stuff, but I think from their perspective, they need to go out there and try and make things happen tonight, and maybe that'll play into our hands and allow us to play a little bit on the counter attack and potentially open up spaces that we can go and exploit and get that elusive first away win of the season.
Yeah. That's a good point, actually. I was going to ask you who you feel will be feeling better about their chances today. If you look at the fact that Argyle have actually picked up some wins of late, they've been better.
Yeah.
But that's all been at home. Luton are without a win in such a long time. They're without a goal, actually, in their last 4 matches. But will they think, Argyle haven't won away from home, this is our chance?
Yeah. I mean, it's a really tricky one, isn't it? You look at it both ways, because, yes, obviously they are coming off the back of a terrible run. I think they're 10 games without a win now. But don't score many. We're going into it with the worst defensive record, but which actually has been better more recently. So, give the players credit for that. But, they're probably looking at it thinking, we haven't scored many, but we're playing against an attack that leak goals. We're looking at it thinking,
if we're gonna.
Yeah, if we're gonna do anything, is today the day when potentially Luton don't score, we can get something on the counter attack. So, I mean, there's so many permutations, isn't there? When you look at it, it's I think it's one of those games that could go either way. I think we shouldn't forget that Luton are a pretty decent side as well, and although, like I said, their run has been poor recently, they've got players who can cause us problems, and that's something that we're really going to have to be aware of.
Yeah, well, spoke about the teams. Let's have a look at the team now, shall we? Argyle obviously are going to be without Ryan Hardy today. He has not recovered from the injury that meant that he came off in the game against Blackburn. So 2 changes from the side that did lose up in Lancashire on the weekend. Sees Jordan Houghton come back into the side, and then Rami Al-Hajj is in from the start, also taking the place of Ryan Hardy. He's a big blow, isn't he, not playing Ryan Hardy. The form he's been in of late, 5 in his last 4. It was 5 and 3 heading into Blackburn, but you could see in that game he was uncomfortable, and he's been the main goal threat of late.
Yeah, and I think he's a massive miss. I think he's almost found a position that suits him recently, where Bundu's played as the out and out striker as the 9, and then he's sat in a little bit deeper, and it's allowed him to, and probably something that we haven't had for a long time, when Ryan plays as the number 9, do we get enough runners past him? But actually he does that when he plays a little bit deeper as the 10. So, we know what his qualities are. Yes, he had a bad run, but you can see the player he is when he gets that little bit of confidence, and unfortunately obviously missing for tonight. So an opportunity for other players to come in and step up, and have we seen the best of Al-Hajj? Probably not. A good opportunity for him coming in today to show a bit of that creativity that we know he's got in him. Likewise, Bundu, good opportunity for him again to hold the ball up, create things. We know when he's playing at the top of his game, he can finish well. Mm-hmm. He can, make chances, take chances. So, as much as Ryan Hardy will be a miss, I think, we've got players who can make a difference and who can put the ball in the back of the net when we're playing well and we're creating opportunities. Yeah,
I mean, other than Ryan Hardy, Bundu is the next top scorer for Argyle. We're having a look at some of his goals here as well. And you mentioned the finish against Millwall. We're seeing it right now. He's got the ability to do this, and I suppose now that he's getting a little run of games, he's shrugged off that injury, this is the time to, like you say, either stake a claim or at least say, right, Ryan Hardy's not here, I'm going to be the guy who scores the goals.
Is he that kind of person who'll be like, right, I'm the main man then, and this is my time to go and show what I can do. And the finish against Mill was a really good composed finish. Takes it down, he turns the defender, he sticks it in the corner. It's a fantastic finish, and we probably don't see that enough from him. I know he's not necessarily played as the 9 all the time. We've seen him a lot down the right hand side, and he's played that little bit of a deeper role, but he's got the stature and the physical ability to be able to be that more of a target man, to hold the ball up and allow then, the likes of Callum Wright and Al-Hajj to pick up those spaces and make things happen, and also to hold the ball up and allow other people to join in and to get your full-backs or your wing-backs higher. We've seen what Sorinola, we've seen what Puach can do when they're getting higher up the pitch. They've got decent delivery. So, Bundu has a really important role to play in the team in terms of allowing everyone else to join in and create more options from an attacking perspective.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look at what Argyle are up against. Luton Town, I should say, on a 10-match run without a win in the league. Here is their side. Matt Bloomfield still looking for his first victory as Hatter's boss, and he makes one change to the side that pushed Sheffield United all the way at Kenilworth Road on the weekend. Sees Carlton Morris, their captain, actually drop out of the squad altogether. We're told he's ill, so not available for selection, and so Lasse Nordaas, a January signing Norwegian striker, is in to make his first start for the club. We've spoken, Katie, about their goal-scoring or lack of goal-scoring ability of late. And, Carlton Morris, their top scorer this season, 7 goals. That'll be even more of a frustration, I imagine, for those Luton Town supporters that, their captain and the guy who got 20 goals the last time they were in this league is not available, adding more to that kind of, bluntness in attack.
Yeah, and again, I think, you look at it and it's another opportunity for those players maybe who are coming in to, step up to the mark again. And, when you get an opportunity, you want to state your claim for keeping the shirt. And, can those players that are coming in, they've got big boots to fill. We know Carlton Morris has been a really important player for Luton over the last 3 seasons, so how can those players come in and make things happen? And I think it's about putting the onus on the players as much as, obviously Bloomfield's relatively new to the role, but a lot of those players played Premier League football last season, so it's about them taking a little bit of onus and trying to make things happen, and they'll certainly be looking to do that today, despite missing maybe 2 of their sort of main striking threats, with Morris and Chong not playing.
Yeah, the other thing is when you do look at the kind of makeup of that side, and you look at Morris, who's not involved today, but Nordaas is fairly physical. Adebayo in particular, but someone like Alfie Dougherty who's putting in the quality crosses that he has. And, the highlights, if you watch them of the game against Sheffield United, there were some big chances missed in that game. So it doesn't look as if they aren't creating. And Argyle will have to be aware of that, especially that physical presence that Adebayo has.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, Doughty's got unbelievable quality on his left foot on that left-hand side. So, and he'll put in quality delivery from set pieces and things as well. So, but I think that's where we've got a lot better in recent weeks in terms of, obviously with Maxi and Katic coming in and being bigger, more physical players. I think that allows us to stand up to those more physical threats a little bit better. I think Luton will create chances tonight. It's how well we can defend that. Can we do another one of those? Let's get bodies on the line and throw in front of the ball, and it probably will come down to that tonight. Somebody just getting in the way of something and stopping them from creating as much as we can. But I think we have more capability of dealing with a physical threat that Luton have than we would have done even probably 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's hear from the head coaches now. We'll start with Miron Muslic. He obviously is playing down any highs and not getting too down when there are lows. He said it was a bit of a step back on Saturday in the push for survival, but he wants the players to keep cool heads or calm in these pressurised situations. Joined here by the boss, Miron Muslic, ahead of a trip to Hertfordshire, Kenilworth Road on Wednesday night. I mean, I'm going to say it, whether you say the same thing, but it feels like one of the biggest games of the season.
It is big, no doubt. The pressure is there, but the pressure is just a part of our journey, and we have to deal with that. And I think, especially in the last 3 or 4 weeks, we showed just the character to face this. And if you purely look at the ranking at the table, it's a big one. It's bigger than Liverpool in terms of the importance of the game. We know this. We will have a good structure, a good organization, and just have a cool mind. If you can manage to do this, we will have opportunities also for us to be successful.
Yeah, I heard you say that after the game on the weekend about the cool mind, because it would be easy, I imagine, for the kind of narrative to be get everybody up for the game, super hyped, but then obviously emotions are high. So how do you approach it then? How do you approach getting the players in the perfect mindset?
Again, that's the right balance we have to find again as a staff, and I think we did it well over the last couple of weeks as a staff to deliver a clear message and to fill this clear message with, first of all, with organization and structure, and then later on with a big heart. Because if you do everything just purely emotionally, this fire, you will lose this fire very quickly. And I think we are just on a good way to have this balance, to recognize the importance of the upcoming games, and they are all important. It's just a couple of days later the next big one, and that's for us just to stay calm, to stay clean, to stay in our organization and our structure. And we showed also, especially the last couple of games, that we can be dangerous for any opponent.
It is interesting, isn't it, when you hear coaches talk about this, and it's at both ends, either end of the table. You quite often hear it, Katie, where it's about knowing the importance of the game that you're going into, and like you said, in terms of importance, this one's bigger than Liverpool, but not getting kind of caught up in the emotion of the game. That can't be an easy thing, because I'm caught up in the emotion of it. And I've got no way of impacting the game.
Yeah, I think it's that what you don't want to do is go in there and think, right, this is so important, that you go and charge around for 5-10 minutes, and actually you end up getting picked off and you find yourself 1-0 down, early on in the game. So the most important thing about it is thinking about kind of obviously what your role is in the game and trying to make sure you just implement that really well. And if every person on the pitch does that, 9 times out of 10 you'll come out on top. So he wants everyone to be focused on their individual roles, what their job is. Like I say, not going and charging and trying to close down, 40 yards up the pitch further than you should be, and trying to keep that shape and that organisation as well as you can, which makes life difficult for the opposition, and then you can start to pick them off a little bit when spaces and gaps start to appear. So it's trying to stay focused, stay in the moment, and make sure you do your individual job well, which then collectively leads you to a good place.
What role does a coach have in that, though? I kind of asked him on that during that clip there. But is it? In fact, is it the coach's job to do that to the players, to keep them sort of, I don't know the word, but just like cool, like you said, cool-minded. Yeah,
and calm, I think, is the key thing. Like, I think it partly comes from the coaching staff. How much are they driving things and trying to get everyone up for the game, but as players themselves, how much are you just focused on actually what you need to do, rather than, this is a massive, almost 6-pointer at the bottom of the league. It's another 90 minutes of football. If you carry on playing the way you've been playing lately, maybe take out the Blackburn game at the weekend, but the previous 3-4 games have been really good. So it's about replicating those performances as best as you can, and the more you can stay focused and calm in those moments, the more chance you have of putting out a performance like that. So yeah, I think the senior players in the side as well, it's about getting the youngsters on, taking them under your wing and saying, just focus on what you've got to do today, don't worry about the occasion, and then hopefully at the end of it we have 3 points to take home with us.
It would be glorious, wouldn't it? It would be absolutely glorious. I wonder whether the inclusion of someone like Jordan Houghton as well maybe does that a little bit for today.
Yeah.
Because he has that calming influence, just the way he plays.
Yeah. Obviously he's calm on the ball anyway, but he brings that experience as well, and he'll have played in lots of games like this where you know what's at stake, but actually it's about, again, just being in the moment and making sure that you can take your time on the ball, you can just keep possession, you can play passes when you need to. I think that's probably one of the reasons why he's been included tonight.
Yeah. Right, let's hear from the opposite side now. Matt Bloomfield took over in January. He swapped the top of League One and Wycombe Wanderers for the bottom of the Championship, of course. He is still looking for his first win in charge of Luton Town, but was encouraged by what he saw despite falling to defeat against Sheffield United just a couple of days ago.
I think every game is really important to us. I've never played in a football game that isn't important. They're all important, and we have to approach it that we want to win the game. I've never sent a team out. I've never played in a game as a player or sent a team out as a manager that I didn't want to win. I want to win, of course we do, but we have to be calm, and we have to just keep approaching the fixtures like everyone is important to win. So of course we're looking forward to the game, and we want to replicate the performance of Saturday and look to improve.
Do you feel like extra pressure on this one because of where the sides are? That would be a factor in the game.
I also don't believe adding pressure to the situation will help the players. They also understand where we are. We all understand where we are. We're very understanding of the situation that we find ourselves in. But we have to approach the game with the edge that we had on Saturday, but also the calm minds that can go and implement a performance.
We've had Plymouth as well, so they struggled a lot at the start of the season, changed managers, and they've had a real bounce since then. I mean, obviously beat Liverpool in the Cup and a couple of good wins. So what do you make them as a side?
Yeah, really solid defensively. Real solid back line, and they've had some real good results. Carry their threats. They've had a lot of games at home, but obviously a disappointing result for them on Saturday away from home. But we understand and respect that they've had a big improvement in the last little while. So it's going to be a tough game for us. Every game at this level is, of course. But yeah, if we can implement ourselves on the game, we showed on Saturday against top quality opposition that we can really impose ourselves.
Against them in the home game, they're very good. They should be without Hardy. I think he's a doubt for tomorrow. So they have got obviously got good threats.
Yeah, they have. They've got other threats in their squad. They've got players that have either new to the league and others that have been there and done it before at the level. So they have got some good players in their squad. We understand that, but like I say, it's about us trying to impose ourselves on the game.
Matt Bloomfield fielding questions from the local press. You mentioned there about the Sheffield United game, Katie, just a couple of days ago, and we've seen that from Argyle quite a lot this season. We saw it under Wayne Rooney before, where they'd put in a performance, lose, but put in a performance where you thought, they've turned a bit of a corner. Now, obviously, Argyle never really got going in a bit of a run. Matt Bloomfield will be hoping that what he saw at Kenilworth Road just a few days ago will be that little catalyst. But he is still winless as manager. He's not had that bounce that Miroslav Muslic has had, that a couple of other clubs at the bottom of the league have had when they've changed coach. Yeah,
and I think every game that goes by, the pressure just builds and builds that little bit more, doesn't it? And, we saw that, like you said, with Rooney. You'd go away and you'd get a decent performance, or you'd pick up a point and you think, maybe this is the start of something, but you never quite take that next step. And he's spoken about it there in his interview. It's about them focusing on themselves and not worrying too much about what we're going to do tonight. And they only lost 1-0 at the weekend. It was a reasonably late goal, I think 79th minute goal that they conceded. So they kept themselves in the game for a really long period of time. And I think tonight might be something that's pretty similar, where it's very tight, it's very edgy. Maybe one goal will swing it either way. So you just hope that tonight isn't the night that they go and break that terrible run they're on, and get that new manager. Well, is it a new manager bounce when you're 6-7 games in? But
just get a bit of momentum.
They need to pick up points from somewhere, and they'll see it as an opportunity to do that tonight.
I mean, are you surprised to see Luton in this position now?
Oh yeah, massively.
It's not gone for them at all this season, has it?
And I think you look at them off the back of last season. They actually competed really well in the Premier League, and you think, how do you drop off that level quite as much as they have done? Yes, there's a bit of bad luck involved. They'll have obviously had a few injuries and things which haven't necessarily gone their way. They lost players, obviously, having been relegated, but maybe the core of the squad, you'd still say there's quite a lot of players who've got Premier League experience, and you'd probably expect them to be doing better. So again, hopefully tonight isn't the night that kind of shows. We've got players who've got plenty of Championship experience in our squad as well. So like I say, it's going to be a tight, nervous, edgy one, I think, and hopefully it goes in our favour.
Hopefully. So, okay. How do you think it will go? Without giving any scores or anything, just like what are you expecting to see from the game? From Argyle?
I think it will be. I expect Luton to have probably more possession than we do. They'll try to knock it around. They'll try to drag us around and try and pull us out of shape as much as they can. I think it will be a dogged performance from us. We'll keep our shape, we'll stay disciplined, and then I think we will have opportunities on the counter-attack, and it's how well we manage those situations and how creative we can be in those moments. And it might just take, like I say, one moment of somebody doing something great which turns it in our favour. But like I say, I think Luton will probably have more possession of the ball than us, and it's how we manage that.
Okay, I think we're pretty much ready. We're pretty much ready. Are you ready? Is the main question. A huge night of Championship football. Then the focus of the league is at Kenilworth Road. The only game in the division taking place. It's the bottom two. Both sides know a win would do huge things for their chances of survival. If you haven't got your match passes, make sure you go and get them now. They're available on our website, pafc.co.uk. Former Argyle legend Gary Nelson and Harry Salvage are standing by for commentary. Argyle against Luton is up next.